Greetings and bienvenue. I'd like to welcome you to the Curtis Zone, where we talk all things action-packed children's programming, and today we are giving you an episode on The Secret Saturdays. I bet you're wondering what's behind that curtain. Well, as the incomparable V.V. Argos once said, there is something very important. A map. And I just can't wait to get to the big red X. Welcome back to the Curtis Zone, everybody. I hope that you guys enjoyed what I did earlier with the incomparable V.V. Argos, my impression of the incomparable V.V. Argos, because today we are doing an episode on The Secret Saturdays. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. But for right now, let's talk about it. But before we get started, a little bit of news. The first piece of news from the world of Power Rangers, it has been reported that a new Power Rangers season will be coming out very soon on Netflix, and that season will address a very critical controversy that has been done in the last season of Power Rangers. Personally, I can't wait for it because, as everyone here knows, I am a huge Power Rangers fan. The next piece of news from the world of Warner Brothers, it has been reported that the writers of The Punisher will be making a Space Ghost series. Whether or not the series will be live action or animated has not been announced yet. Personally, I think it would be a great idea to make it animated because nobody wants to see a live action Space Ghost just yet. Final piece of news is this. The filming for Avatar: The Last Airbender, the second season of it, has been delayed. This is due to the fact that one of the writers has dropped out. What writer or showrunner has dropped out? So, it has been delayed until that person can be replaced. I personally think it would be a bad idea to just delay filming. Just go ahead with filming. I mean, just do what you did last time. Quote the entire season. Come on. And now let's get started with this history of episode. A history of The Secret Saturdays. Let's get started. Remember, like and subscribe because we're gonna talk about more, alright? If you want more of me and of course more of my bouncing hex, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get started with an origin. The Secret Saturdays would have its first episode in October of 2008, would have its final episode in January of 2010. It lasted 3 seasons and even had a crossover episode in Ben 10 Omniverse. Now at first, Secret Saturdays was not to be taken seriously, but due to the fact that it gained a lot of popularity during the first few episodes, showrunners had no choice but to make a second season and to add some surprise twists to it as well. It was fun, it was exciting. Now that is said and done, let's talk about the fictional origin, shall we? While on an expedition, Doc and Drew Saturday, who at the time was pregnant with their son Zach, would find a device known as the Curse Stone. However, the Curse Stone was taken by a man known as V.V. Argos, who was looking for an ancient creature called Kerr. So the secret scientists, including Doc and Drew Saturday, would go into his home to steal it back. 30 secret scientists went in, but only 7 came out. And so these 7 scientists made a pact. They would never find Kerr. They did so by splitting the Curse Stone into 3 pieces. We then fast forward to the first episode where we meet Zach Saturday. He and his family are cryptozoologists. They take care of the creatures that you would see in conspiracy theorist websites and all other conspiracy theorist books, such as the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, all those creatures. See, they take care of these creatures to keep them away from human eyes and keep conspiracy theorists at bay. So, in Zack Saturday, he has the ability to have a psychic connection with any cryptid. It was during this time that Argos would stage a daring attack on all the secret scientists' labs in order to find the Kerr Stone. He would then bring it together and use it to find the creature known as Kerr, so that he could raise an army of cryptids. Giving some things here and there and ending this story real quick. The Saturday family would go after their piece of the Curse Stone, but they were captured by V.V. Argos. V.V. Argos captured them in vines in the Amazon jungle, but Zack Saturday would free himself and fight against V.V. Argos and his faithful manservant Monra. and the two of them would escape with the whole curse stone, but the Saturday family got a good start on him. Now that is done, let's talk about important moments. The first important moment that we're going to talk about is when we meet Doyle. Doyle is Drew's younger brother. The two of them were separated while on a trip in the Himalayas. And during this, we also find out that VV Argos is also a freaking Yeti. A talking Yeti. And he has the ability to blend in with the populace. And he created a show so that he could find Kerr and steal his powers. Now, back to Doyle. Doyle was working for Van Rook. Van Rook, the mercenary, was basically stealing and working for anybody who would pay him. So Doyle was his apprentice. Now when they met again, it started out as a fight, but it turned into a nice little family reunion, and we got to see more and more of Doyle throughout the series. The next important moment we're going to talk about is when we meet Ulraj. Ulraj, who is the king of Kumari Kingdom, which is similar to Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Ulraj, when he first meets Zack Saturday, the two of them get into this little bit of a rivalry. But they turn out to be friends, and we see more and more of him throughout the city. He is a humanoid fish that can swim underwater and breathe air. It was impressive, fun. It was a lot of fun. I liked it. You'll like it. It was awesome. The next important moment was at the end of season 1 when we find out about Kerr. Now, here's the thing about Kerr. They thought that Kerr was a giant monster, only to find out that Kerr is actually Zack Saturday himself. See, Zack's cryptid influencing powers came from the fact that he is Kerr. And this leads us to the second season where the secret scientists all wanted to freeze Zack Saturday in cryostasis. Which leads us to the next important moment that we're going to talk about right now. Just like right now. The final important moment we're going to talk about is in the final episode when Zack Saturday goes up against Argos in an episode titled War of the Cryptids. In this episode, Argos has released an armies of cryptids around every major city around the world. So Zack Saturday brings out his own army of cryptids, and the two of them go to war over it. Now, this leads to Van Rook's untimely demise, but the episode was so amazing that I loved every single second of it, and I hope that you guys do too. Seriously, watch it. Bigger than the mother cat you love to see. Now that is done, let's talk about my favorite episodes. My first favorite episode is the episode when we meet the Mondays. Now, the Mondays are a group that live in the negative parallel universe, parallel to the Saturdays. And they all have the same skill sets and abilities, including Zack Monday, who has cryptid influencing powers like Zack. The only difference is that he is more evil. They're negative energy. And in an episode prior to the final episode, VV Argos took Zack Monday's powers. And that led to the events of the final episode. I hope that you guys like it as much as I did. My second favorite episode and/or moment is when we learn more about how Doc studied under the eye of a great scientist and became known as Doc. And we learn more about Doc's real name, which is Solomon. Spoiler alert. Now, in this episode, they go to the Louisiana Bayou. In this episode, we learn more about how Doc learned his skills, his scientific expertise, and we even learned that Zack, Fiskerton, and Komodo are DNA brothers. It's pretty amazing, pretty fun, pretty family filled, and I loved it every single second of it. My final and number one favorite moment is when Zack and Fiskerton go up against a character known as Piecemeal. In this episode, their parents are having their anniversary dinner, and so they are home alone after they get rid of another secret scientist that is supposed to be babysitting them. But they get rid of him, and a character known as Piecemeal comes in and tries to eat Fiskerton. So they have no choice but to fight him off, while at the same time trying to figure out a way to have fun. With all that said and done, let's talk about powers and abilities, shall we? First, there's Doc. Doc is a scientist. They're all scientists, but Doc is incredibly intellectually prowess, and he has a battle glove, which means he's a skilled boxer. He has the ability with that battle glove. It generates a lot of energy, giving him the ability to punch through anything. It also fires energy projection blasts. Then there is Drew. Drew is a amazing martial artist as well, and being raised by monks, she knows a lot of kung fu. And she has a fire sword, which is a solar powered energy sword that fires fire abilities. And finally there is Zack. Zack has an eye for adventure. He has cryptid influencing psychic abilities that he uses on all cryptids that they come up against. It's pretty cool, my friend. And finally we're going to talk about Fiskerkin, Komodo, and Zon. They're all cryptid animals that they have in their house with amazing strength, speed, stealth capabilities, and flight capabilities. Well, all I'm saying is that the Secret Saturdays, they are pretty awesome. And that brings another episode of the Curtis Zone to a screeching close, ladies and gentlemen. I ask that you hit that like and subscribe button if you want more content, if you want more of me, my smiling face, and of course of my bouncing pecs. I hope that you all enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. It is pretty awesome when people make requests, because this was a special request as well. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you want to make a request for any episode period, if you want to make a request for a history of, a how powerful would, a versus battle, an evolution of episode, leave it in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you guys. Now, remember to give some love to our sponsors, Coastal Waste and Recycling, because as you know, your garbage will power someone's world. I love you all, and I will see you very, very soon, because I will be giving you more episodes and more of my smiling face and more of my afro and of course more of my pecs. I will see you all very soon.
I live the life of a celebrity, a made nigga way bigger than the mother cat you love to see.